all. Thank you so much for joining us again for another amazing series of the Break the Cycle of Brokenness. We have another amazing woman here who's going to be able to share her story of what caused her to be broken, and now what have she done to do the work to be able to overcome the brokenness. So the Break the Cycle series started off of a prayer that I had for my children. So I would not be able to pass on the same hurt and pain that I experienced in my upbringing. I never thought it'll turn into a book, but hey, when it's out of your control, you can let God do what he does best. And so here I am to be able to share not only a message, but to be able to empower other people. And it takes more than one. I can't do it alone. So I have some powerful women here that's going to be able to share their story and to be able to, in hopes that you are left knowing you are not alone in this journey, and you too can be able to pass it on to somebody else, because you never know with your message who you could save. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Miss Adrienne and let her share her story, which is so powerful because I already heard the scripted part, but my goodness, come on, we live.
We're live. You're right. We're live. And I can already feel this turning because as I'm listening to you speak, and when you're sharing the cycle of how you break the cycle of brokenness, I mean, it's such a deep subject because I'm sure as women, we can all relate at some point in our life where we've been broken. I mean, it could have been a bad marriage. It could have been from childhood. It could be family relationships. But it's something we all share because we're human, and we're in relationships with other humans. So as no one is perfect, you can just imagine the scenarios that will come out of that. But a little bit about me. First of all, I'm happily married now, and on the, I feel like the upswing of my life because I've been able to look inward into myself to find what I needed to make myself whole. But I didn't start out that way. I am the survivor of child molestation and of sexual abuse. And this is something that I carried with me even into my first marriage. I didn't realize it until I got older, as I started experiencing some difficulties in my life and experiences and relationships. But the thing about it is that even when all that was going on as a child, I've always felt that inside of me there was a spirit of fire. I never would let those situations as they happen, even though in the moment it's the worst situation or the feeling you can have, to be abused or to be involved in anything where you're a victim or in a situation where things are not in your control. Mm-hmm. But I always felt that when I get up, things are going to be different.
Oh, wow. So
I've always felt that there was a spirit inside of me that God placed in me that always told me, especially when I would start feeling, asking the why me, why this happened to me. One day I heard him tell me, respond to me, why not you? And so I couldn't understand, well, what do you mean? And he said, why not you? Mm-hmm. Because I've given you everything you need to succeed, so why not you? Mm-hmm. And so I had to take that and I had to, meditate on that and figure that out. But then I started realizing, okay, so I'm not going to break from these situations, no matter how many times they happen or how many times I find myself in a situation where I felt that I had lost control or control had been taken from me.
Yeah.
It was a learning experience. So I had to learn how to make myself whole by figuring a way out of the situation, not giving up. And I used to look at people sometimes who had situations that, in my experience, I felt that, people would quit real easily if they had the least, a confrontation or a conflict or something went wrong in their life that they felt that was just really, really wrong, and they would just give up. And I would be like, well, why are you giving up?
Yeah.
Because, I just felt like you should have a little bit more wherewithal inside to persevere. Don't let this one thing put you out and put you down, because there's so many other things that you have to go through in life that I thought that maybe, I don't know, I never liked quitters because I didn't understand the concept. And I didn't understand why I didn't understand the concept. Because I'm like, if I've gone through all I've gone through, and I kept that inside, I didn't share that with a lot of people. And the people that I shared it with didn't necessarily believe me or couldn't help me out of my situation. So I learned early that it was no reason to walk around sharing my story, because that wasn't going to solve my problem.
Yeah.
What I needed to find out, or what I needed to figure out, was how to help me. So I graduated early from high school. I went to college. I was 16 years old. I was not prepared. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew I needed to get out of the situation I was in, and that was how I did it. I ended up getting pregnant at 19.
Wow.
Getting married.
Oh, wow.
And I married because of, not necessarily because that's what I should have done as far as marrying because I was pregnant, but I did that because I thought that was the right thing to do for my child. Not that that was the best relationship for me to be in.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do things out of circumstances that may not necessarily be the best thing for us, but at the time that we're in the situation we're in, we're trying to make the best of that situation.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but I'm saying at the time that was all I needed to do to help myself. And I also knew that at the time, becoming a mother kind of changed my mindset, because it was no longer about me and me worrying about what was going on with me. I needed to be concerned about this other human who I brought into the world.
Yeah.
So I related all this to when I saw the Lemonade series with Beyonce, especially when she was singing the song called Freedom. And then there's a line there where she says, I'm going to keep running because a winner never quits on himself. And that resonated with me so much, because you cannot quit, no matter what circumstances or situations you may be going through in life, or, things not going the way you want them in life. Don't quit, because I'm telling you that if you persevere and you keep at it, and if you don't give up, God will somehow help you to make that breakthrough. But you can't get to the breakthrough until you push through. And I don't know how more succinctly to say that, because a lot of times when you're in your pain and you're trying to deal with this, when you're in your pain, it's okay to do that for a little while. But after the pain, you have to have a plan. Because if you're sitting there in your pain and you're not trying to figure out why you're in the pain, acknowledging the pain, and then forgiving yourself for whatever it is that you're feeling bad about, you have to get a plan, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get on the road to healing. And for you to get on that road, you have to be able to see the way out. I mean, when they tell you that the tunnel, when you're looking through a tunnel and you see the light on the other side, realize you still have to go through the tunnel. So sometimes we go through things in life that we may not be able to understand why, but when you get to the other side, then you have the wherewithal to look back and say, okay, well, that's what I learned from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that experience may be what leads you to show someone else how to get through.
Exactly.
I always tell my daughter, why is it that you have to experience everything? Even the things I tell you, well, if you do this, this, and this, and this is going to happen. But for her, for some reason, she always wants to go through the experiences on her own. And for some people, that's how they learn. Mm-hmm. But the whole point is that you learn. And that you benefit from that experience, not just sit there in that experience and wallow in it, because that gets you nowhere. So I just believe that God gives you everything that you need on the inside from the beginning.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
But you have to be able to open yourself up to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can get burdened down with a lot of people's junk. You can feed into the narrative of what you hear other people say about you, or what you start believing about yourself. And it's not necessarily true. But even if that's your circumstance, that doesn't make you who you are. Because as Tarsha was speaking yesterday about building yourself, how you're built to last.
Yeah.
Our physical being, yes, should be, we should monitor what we eat. We should exercise. We need to strengthen all of that. But we also need to strengthen our minds.
Mm.
And you strengthen your mind because when these bodies fail and this physicality is gone, you need that mental wherewithal to persevere.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to keep you sustainable. That's what's going to keep you going. So I want everyone to always look at themselves as a winner. You're not a loser. Don't let anyone tell you you're a loser. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do, or you can't have, or you can't accomplish, or you're not going to be anywhere. Don't let that be your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let that be your narrative, because that's not true. Everybody has a God-given purpose. And it is up to you to figure out what that purpose is. No one's going to tell you what your purpose is. I mean, it doesn't come, written on your forehead or on your birth certificate when you get here. But God gives you skills, talents, ideas, passions. It'll come to you from so many different ways. But usually, you know what it is that you want, and you know if you're accomplishing what it is that you want to do in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you're not satisfied with where you're at, that you need to follow that. Don't just accept, well, I'm at a situation or in a situation, and this is all that I'm going to do. All I'm going to have in life, the best that I'm going to be. No. Always look forward to tomorrow. Always know that you can do better. Encourage yourself. Surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do. Find people who are like-minded. But it's so important that you make sure that you surround yourself with the type of people that you want to aspire to be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's how I met Vanessa, because I had decided that I was looking for a particular thing. I started looking for that thing, and that's how I found Vanessa. Because you want to surround yourself with the people who can help you to attain what it is that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can teach someone, well, what they say, if you can do it, you can teach it.
Oh yeah.
So you find the people that are doing what it is you want to do, and then you surround yourself with those type of people.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I want to be able to. I want to say something. One of the statements that you said was about Beyonce. What's that statement? Repeat that for me again. Quitters never.
He said, "I'm gonna keep running because a winner never quits on themselves."
And that is huge. That is really, really huge. And people really need to to just really think about those words that she's saying, because it's very, very powerful, especially being a woman. Being a woman, you know, we are the most mistreated women there is. We get less pay, but we could do the same thing that a man could do, but we get less pay. You know, we know we get looked over, mistreated, stumped on because of we are women. And so we have to work even harder just to say, hold on, don't matter if I'm a woman, I could do it. And you just probably mad because I probably could do it better than you. Not trying to be funny, but we just got to be real. You know what I'm saying? We have to be realistic with it. And so it's just like, we have to know that we are so powerful. If we could be able to deal with the children, go to work, or deal with our business, deal with our family, and still have 1 hour sleep, we still get back up, we make sure the house is ran. You know what I mean? Because I know I haven't been getting no sleep.
Right.
But I still got to get back up and I got to get things done, because I know what the ultimate goal is. And I have to remember that I started something, and I need to remember I want to go and get whatever I came for. And if I stop, I'll never receive it. I'll never achieve it. I'll never be able to embrace it. I'll never be able to tell my children to keep going. How do I look like telling my children, my grandchildren to keep fighting, and I quit because I'm tired?
And that's true. That's true. We have to be the example. We have to set the example that we want to them to emulate.
Absolutely.
So, just like you said, with your children, especially with our daughters, you know, we have to be very mindful of what we show them.
Yep.
Because if you don't want them to repeat some of the negative things that we tend to traditionally repeat in our and have cycles of families or generations of families doing the same thing over and over again. It's because no one changes that paradigm. We're repeating what we see. So we have to be very mindful that we are emulating and doing, and at least seeking to accomplish what it is that we want our children to do.
Absolutely.
Because who else are they going to learn from?
Yep. And you also said something else about how you know what you deal with growing up, just telling someone the people that should have been supporting you, they wasn't there. And so I remember it was interesting because as I was writing the book, I was faced with some things that it reminded me of just this very similar situation. And one thing I'm always telling people is that too often people want to brush stuff under the rug. They want to brush it up under the rug, think it's going to go away. That's not going to go away. It's something, you know what I mean? Don't talk about this in our household. And that's a problem, because this is hurting me. This is bothering me. And just because we don't talk about it, we put it under the rug and put the rug back up under it. As soon as you lift back under that rug, what's under there? All that stuff is now it done piled up. It got extra dirt. It got webs. It got all types of mess underneath there because it never went away. You can't sweep and mop that away as much as you want to cover up under that rug. It's still going to be there. And so we need to stop having that saying, that mentality that is just going to go away, because now it's showing up in our adult life. And now we got to go back and deal with it and face it in our adult life, because people who supposed to be there supporting us, loving on us, embracing us, and fighting for us when somebody doing us wrong, they didn't. So now here we are trying to figure out where do we begin and how do we get to the root of the problem so we can be able to move forward, so we don't have this cycle repeated in our children, in our household, and to the next generation. So that was a great point that you brought up, because that was something that I could relate to. You know, I can talk about it all I want, but then as you know, it's like, oh, don't say that. That never happened. How do you know? I'm telling you it is happening. I'm telling you, this is how I feel. So you basically telling me, avoid my feelings, avoid what they say, but y'all gonna keep on bringing them around. What? So who is more important? You know what I mean? If you're the one who's supposed to be there to support me, if you're the one who I'm supposed to go to when I need to understand something going on with my body here, And I don't understand what's going on in my body, but I know it's been violated in some type of way, shape, form, or fashion. And I'm coming to you to tell you about it. And then you're going to tell me what? So now here I am. I just keep on just brushing on the road while it continues to happen. So now you give me the impression that it's okay.
Right.
This is okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay because they told me that this never happened, but you keep bringing these people around. So it's okay for you just telling them, oh, it's okay to keep doing that to her.
Right.
That is not okay.
The cycle gets repeated because it never is dealt with. You know, it's under the rug, but it's still under the rug. It hasn't disappeared. You know, I realized as I got older, in dealing with the loved one that I felt was not there for me when I was a child, who I went to, was that the whole problem was they didn't want to face themselves and their shortcomings, because, you know, this would have opened up a whole another can of worms. And that's what I'm saying about not quitting, because sometimes even in our emotions, because they're so painful to deal with, we just prefer to ignore them or brush them under the rug or act like they're not there, and not realizing that those we don't have the right processes, or that's not the word I'm looking for, but the way to the coping mechanisms is what I'm looking for.
Right.
To dealing with these negative emotions, that's what we're perpetuating into the next generation, because that's what they're learning. And so they acknowledging them and dealing with them and confronting them and then figuring out a way out of them, you know, we end up perpetuating the cycle and showing that to our children. That's what we end up emulating. And that's how this cycle gets perpetuated from one generation to the next. So I really appreciate this group and what we're doing and how we're empowering women, because maybe now that we have this social media where we can bring together people from all different walks of life to share our stories and to help women, you know, figure out, okay, well, you know, we have some commonalities. This happened to me too.
Yeah.
You know, what should we be doing?
Yeah.
Or how can we help each other?
Yep.
Or what ideas or techniques can I give to my sister that she can share with her daughter, that she can share with, you know, her child? You know, it just, I still believe it takes a community. Nobody can do it on their own. And I think that's been our problem for so long in our culture. We don't have the same tools and mechanisms and access. You know, because a lot of times, I've never understood why in Black culture, mental illness was always treated so like it was some type of disease. I mean, it is a condition, but no one wants to deal with it. No one wants to acknowledge it. No one wants to talk about it. And a lot of these things that come out, I mean, if a person has diabetes or hypertension or a heart condition, you know, that's accepted. But if a person has a problem with, I don't know, mentally, where they don't have the right coping skills, or you're dealing with someone who doesn't know how to communicate, some of these social skills that we have or don't have are learned. Because I know in my family, I was wondering why my mother didn't talk. I mean, she could communicate and she could speak, but we didn't have conversations that weren't related to you go do this, or have you done that, or maybe you were upset because I didn't do something, but we didn't have heart to heart. Well, you know, well, how was your day? You know, well, what's going on? You know, talking to figure out what's going on with you mentally, or maybe trying to just ask questions to figure out where you are, you know, just trying to have a relationship, building that bond. So
that passing in the night.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's so busy, caught up in what they're doing, going to work, going to school, coming home, whatever. but nobody's, checking to see, well, how was your day, or what's going on with you, or is something you need to talk about, and then not picking up clues.
Yep.
Well, why are you acting like this?
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on.
Wow.
There's something, so, it's like, I feel like there are things that we see that we ignore.
Yep.
And that we as parents, and mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, we need to learn how to communicate, especially with our family members and our siblings and our mothers and fathers, to try to get, to the root of some of these problems, because otherwise they're going to continue to happen.
That's interesting that you say that, because I remember, I think it was last year for my birthday, and I'm like the most simplest person. I am so simple. When I go out, I'm gonna go all the way out, but I'm like the simplest person. And so I told my kids, and since they both know how to cook, my girls do, I said I want to be able to have a sit down dinner, because I have a crazy schedule, and I want to be able to have a sit down dinner for my birthday. And we've done it all the time, and now they older, they know, like, when I say something like that, don't play with me. And so this particular time, my son had ran to the store or something with his friend, and I called him back and I said, dinner will be done in 10 minutes, because his friend answered the phone. Dinner will be done in 10 minutes. It'll be on this table no longer than 15 minutes. Let him not be here when this food hit this table. We're going to have a problem. And so his friend, before I knew it, it's like, you hear, I don't know what it was, like a whirlwind, ran through the front door, and it was like washing their hands, because my son knew, don't do that. When I say that we're sitting down, we having dinner because this is what we do, and now I say this is what I want for my birthday, and you telling me, and you're not gonna be, we got a problem with that. Mm-hmm. And so his friend recently wound up saying, he said, do you not know? And you just never know other people in their households, right? He said, do you not, mm-hmm. you did not know that meant a lot to me, that you guys sat down for dinner? And I was like, well, that's what my kids, I raised them to do, that we sit down to dinner, we talk, find out how their day was, school and all that. And he was like, no. I said, what do you mean no? He said, because we never done this in our household. And I said, really? And I was like, dang. And it was crazy, because I don't remember doing that in our household when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. But I knew that's something that it was like everybody passing by the day, going to school, going to work. You don't know what I'm going through. You didn't even ask me what I was going through. And then when things show up, now you want to act like you really care, but don't care at the same time. I know how that feels. I was on a mission to not have my children feel that way of emptiness, of not having someone care about your being. And so that was a problem with me. So you got to be able to have those sit down moments with your children, and to be able just to interact and let them know, because what you're doing is molding your children for the next generation, because they're going to have children. They're going to have their own family. And you got to be able to show them this is what you do, So that was interesting to hear that from him. And I was like, wow, this is just, it was mind boggling. It really, like, what? And he was like, no. And so he said that, and he got so emotional. And I was like, dang, that was me, that little girl who felt that way. Mm-hmm. And now this young guy here, I think he's like 21, he's feeling that same way. He got emotional as to seeing, us do that. And I said, well, now you have a blueprint of how it feels to come together as a family, to be able to come together, have a conversation, act silly. Because we had it was the best. It was the best. But it was like, that was our moment. And for him to pick up those jewels that was dropped at that very moment, I said, take this. So when it's time for you to have your family, and when it's time for you to get married, now you know what it looks like, how it feels, and that's what you want for your children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's right. That's how they learn.
Yeah.
And that's what they see emulated. And a lot of times, how you go to other people's houses and you're like, wow, mm-hmm. They do things that we don't do in our household. And so you see how other people live, and sometimes that opens your eyes to some of the things that are not happening or should be happening in your own household.
Yeah.
But
So that's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
But you still have to desire to want more. You know, all I'm saying is that we should always aspire to do better. Okay. So no matter, you know, where we're starting out with, what our situation is or what we've gone through, you know, just always keep the faith and don't give up, because just because the situation is bad now doesn't mean it's going to be bad always. Because that's true. Life is a choice. It's a decision. It's based on a group of decisions that we all make. And so based on those decisions, you can almost determine what it is you're going to have in life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So you cannot really blame, you know, you can have a bad childhood, but your childhood can only last so long. Mm-hmm. Because when you become an adult, then whose responsibility is it? Yeah. So I just think that we need to always remember that we don't quit, don't give up. Mm-hmm. If you don't like your situation, change it.
Change it. Change it. Just know that you can change it.
You can change it. It's within our power to change it.
Yep. Yep.
It's within our power to make a different decision. If you didn't get a bike when you were a kid, then buy yourself, you know, by all means, if you have the means and you still want that bike, go buy yourself that bike.
Go buy it.
But don't continue to live in the past talking about what didn't happen in your past or who did what in your past, because at some point you got to let that baggage go in order to move on.
You know, that you say that, this is so interesting. So I was having a conversation with someone, and it was interesting because I thought that this person have grown from the situation, right? And so now his situation has totally changed, and now his mom is sick, right? His mom is really sick, so now he has to take care of his mom, and who he thought he was going to be able to take care of mom don't take care of mom, and blah blah skippy. But then after having a conversation with him, you hear the same anger, the bitterness, and she didn't do this for me, and she could have did. You know, it was like, how old are you? and I don't know how to sugarcoat. I swear I don't. And I'm like, wait a minute, you are still holding on to this? And I know you how long, so you telling me all those years, even though you put on this facade as if you let it go. Now the situation has changed where now she seriously cannot no longer take care of herself, and you are holding her as to why your life has stopped. What?
Right.
It was like, wait a minute, I'm trying to understand this, and this is what a lot of people do, and I've seen it in my own family, and it's just like they don't want to face, this is what it is, they do not want to face the reality of the situation, right? They don't want to face the fact that this is what's going on, and I really truly just choose not to fix it. Because you can't fix it, you can mend it, whatever the heck you got to do. And they may not like it, but you need to be able to move on and live your best life. But you're not living your best life because you holding on to what somebody done did, what somebody done said. And now here you are, you one of the bitter, miserable, having a pity party, and you want somebody to listen to this after conversation, and you beating the pavement. And don't that concrete hurt?
Girl.
You know what I mean? You hitting the concrete, and you're not getting anywhere because you still holding this woman hostage of the decisions that she has made. She got to deal with those decisions. So now, since you still holding on to what she should have, could have, and maybe would have done, but you holding on to this in your adult life, and now you can move on in your adult life, but you still here sitting like a child playing this little pity party game, and you want to have a tea party. Nobody out there saying that you a full-grown person. Nobody want to hear that unless they are the same like mind, like yourself, and going to entertain that. I'm sorry. I don't have no time to entertain your foolishness. You grown. If you want to move on with your life, you're going to let that stuff go and let God deal with her. But you continue to hold on to this mess, and you sitting here can't do this and can't do that because you said you can't do it.
Right.
So if that person is not doing their part, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? If they choose not to do their part, that's on them.
Correct.
But you sit here and like you gotta hold the baton to the finish line and you wanna carry everybody else on your back. Honey, you gotta understand that everybody can't go with you. If you really want change, trust me, them fools gonna fall off eventually if you keep on going.
Right. You cannot live your life sitting there waiting on that magic moment where you feel, ooh, I've been vindicated, or you know, because when you're walking around with that baggage, you know, forgiveness is not for that other person, it's for you.
It's for you.
It's so that you can release that.
Yep.
You know, the lyrics on that song, Bag Lady by Erykah Badu,
Oh,
say,
yes.
Bag Lady, you gonna miss your bus carrying all the bags like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
That's true.
ever told you all that you must hold on to is you.
Yep.
Is you. You gotta let that stuff go.
You gotta let
because
it go.
it will weigh you down and it will keep you in the mire and muck of which you're trying to get out of. It's like walking across quicksand.
Yep.
So, you know, you can't expect everyone to. I mean, we're gonna all be offended by something somehow, some way, one day.
Right.
But you cannot hold that against that person forever.
Nope.
Because that just builds up a barrier in your heart, so that makes it hard for you to forgive, and that makes it hard for you to move on in life because you're still stuck in the past.
Yeah.
They've gone on and forgotten.
You just got to pray for them and keep it moving. And I also noticed that the more that I've grown, the more that I've seen things in a different light. You know, people always put up this picture. So imagine there's a picture of your mom and there's a picture of your grandma, and they always say, then there's you and then there's your daughter. Oh, there's 4 generations. But within that 4 generations, how much BS? You know what I mean? How much? And so I had to really, really look deep down inside of myself and be honest. I was making the same dysfunctional, bad habits of what I've seen. And the bad habits led me nowhere, right? But if I'm looking over my life now and I'm seeing like, dang, what the heck am I doing? I should have been way over here somewhere, but it seemed like I'm back there because I'm doing the same thing and I'm not making movements. Like you walking, but didn't even get down the block, but you keep walking and you walking. No, you was walking in the same circle. That's what you was doing. And just because you was walking in that same circle, you thought you was really moving forward, but you really wasn't. And so as I was going around in this circle over and over again, I was making the same dysfunctional mistakes that I seen. And I was like, no, this is not what I want. But then I had to look at, okay, this is a pattern that you got to stop. But where did this pattern come from, right? And so I had to look back at, wait a minute, hold on, look at the history. Some people don't want to know their history, don't want to look at their history, don't even want to visit their history, don't want to none of that. But sometimes you have to go back in history and see where did this stuff come from. Because a generational curse is generational curse. Not like the generational picture, there's a generational curse. And so if you keep on making these same patterns and these same habits that's going on in this generation that your mama done did, and now that you see her mama done did, and now you're doing it, that's a generational curse. So if you do not want to look like them in their age right now, I advise you to take a big picture, a realistic picture, not just something that you can fan like, you know, in the Polaroids. No. Take a realistic picture of your life right now. And then you take a look at them and see, wait a minute, how far did they come in their life? They still hold on to the baggage that, imagine, the baggage that their parents done did to them.
Right.
So now they don't give that baggage not only from their parents, but to your parent. And now your parent don't put that garbage on you. And so now here you are with this generational curse of walking around in circles and you can't even move forward because you're doing the same thing over and over. Aren't you tired?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
you
ma'am.
Know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
we have to be able to really look at our life, and accept reality for what it is in order for us to be able to move forward. We cannot move forward if we don't get to the root. Why did this mess start? Where do it come from? Like they look in your family history of when you get sick. They ask you on that application your history from both sides of the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you got these check box, a little bit of history. Don't overlook the question just because you say, I don't want to deal with that mess. No, deal with it.
Right.
Because you want to be able to say, this is not what I want. I need to correct it. So if there's diabetic that running your family and both sides running and everybody getting about an age of X, Y, and Z, and you know this, but you're going to go ahead and do what the heck you want to do anyway. And you say, oh, it's never going to happen to me. Honey, you already knew the history.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I knew that when I seen my mom and I seen my dad, and I said, dang, y'all done really messed me up because now I'm bottom heavy. I got a problem with it because I'm having a hard time getting jeans. Y'all messed me up. But it's a genetic thing. And I was like, oh, now I see where this mess come from. Now I see why I'm having a hard time finding some jeans. I'm just saying.
Right.
But we really
accepting it, acknowledging it, and hey, maybe you needed to design the jeans for your body type. You could have been that designer.
I know, but I
work with what you have.
But we got to be
instead
able to
of fighting
do
against the grain.
Yeah.
But that's how
you do something. You gotta do something. But it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing when you can be able to fully accept the fact that I want to take that stand boldly, unapologetically, be able to break this cycle so my children and the next generation do not feel that same hurt and pain. That's amazing.
Right. It is amazing. And like we were saying earlier about, life being choice driven, it's about the choices we make. It's about I will versus I wish. We can say what we are going to do and act on those with actual verb, that you're going to do versus, I wish this was that. I wish I had this or that, but if you're not doing anything to make that happen, because, it's just like a fantasy world because you're not doing anything to make a difference in your life. You're just espousing a bunch of words that are really not going to make a difference to your being.
Yeah.
So it's just about the choices that you make, how you go about living your life, what you're going to do about your situation, and whether or not you really want to see change or just want to talk about it.
Go ahead, girl.
No, seriously, because it's time is short. I mean, we see people and hear about people every day that we know or hear of that are here yesterday and they're not here tomorrow. And I'm sure they had plans to be here.
Yeah.
But you never know when your time is up. Yeah. So it's best that we make the most of the time that we have. Absolutely. And surely don't want to live full of regret.
You only get one life.
I could have, should have.
Yeah.
Because
you get one life. What are you gonna do with it? You know what I mean? What are you gonna do with this one life? You know what I mean? So that's very important. That's very important. And you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. So if you don't want to repeat that same cycle,
I don't believe it's ever too late.
No, it's never too late. Never ever too late. Never too late. Everybody have the opportunity to get it right. Surround yourself around some people that's willing to support you in a journey. It's not going to be an easy journey, but it's going to be so well worth it. It's going to be so well worth it. And you're going to look back over your life and you're going to be like, dang, I come a long way. And now you learn through all this pain that you went through, and because you held on, you didn't let go. And now you can be able to show your children that I decided, not somebody else. I decided that I wanted more out of life. I decided to move forward. I decided to do the work. And so with doing the work, there will become a time where you're going to see results.
Right. But that the results will come if you persevere and keep at it and you're working at it and you keep working towards that goal. But doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean you're not going to have more struggles or challenges, and it does not mean that life is going to always be rosy for you. But if you keep that mindset of being a winner and not a quitter, you know,
there you go.
That's the gas that you need to keep going. Because it's easy to give up. I'm sorry, I just believe it is. Because it takes work. I mean, it's like trying to grow a business, to start a business, to lose weight, to accomplish basically anything in life that's not easy. Because what they say, if it's easy, everybody could do it. Everybody would have a degree. Everybody would own a business. Everybody would be whatever. But the people that persevere and put in the work, that sweat equity, that time, that loss of sleep, that actually doing something towards the goal they want to get to, they're the ones that persevere and make it. If you're just going to sit here and look at others as life goes by, wishing in your mind, oh, I wish I could have did that, or, I want to do that, but you don't get up off that couch and do anything about it, you're going to have exactly what you say.
You got to speak that bad boy into existence, and you got to keep going and don't stop.
You got to. You have to. You have to make a plan, and you have to follow up with it. Because it's nothing. It's not magic. It doesn't come out of our head. That's a start, and that's a seed that you can use for inspiration. But then you have to come out here and make it present in the physical world to bring it out of that abstract world or the spiritual world.
Look at you. Go ahead, girl. I'm loving it. I am loving you just dropping these nuggets, and that's what people need to know. People need to hear this because you know what? Somebody probably didn't even tell them this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody didn't tell them.
Because I wish someone had talked to me. Like I said, I feel that I know that I would have gone probably in a different direction, but I can't sit here now and regret and say, well, since I didn't have anyone to mentor me or to tell me this or to help me when I was younger, that it's just too late. And I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. I feel like as long as that fire is burning inside of me and I have the desire and the goal to accomplish more and do more, then that tells me that I should continue to pursue whatever it is that I desire to do. And that the limits that we have are the limits that we put up on ourselves.
The limits that we have is the limits that we put up on ourselves. All right, now. The limits that we have is the limits we put up on ourselves.
Yes.
All right, now. Okay. Go ahead, woman.
I drive to work on the Beltway, and we have a lot of cattle here in Texas. And I always wonder, because the fence that's between them and the freeway is just a little barbed wire fence. These huge cattle, some of them have these big horns, some long horns. If they wanted to go through that little barbed wire fence, there's nothing to stop them. But because that limit has been there all their lives, they were calves, they grew there, and they saw that fence, and they knew they couldn't get past it. So they never tried.
Yeah.
And that's the culture and the mentality of the herd. They say the same thing about an elephant. If you put a chain around his ankle and put a spike in the ground, the elephant will never leave that circle because he thinks he can.
That's
and
true.
It's not that he physically cannot, but it's the limit that he puts upon himself. And we have to realize that, sometimes we look at things and you think, oh, I can't go past there. But have you tried?
Have you tried it? Hello.
So I encourage anyone, if you have the spirit of fire or belief in yourself and you feel that there are things in life that you want to do, whatever that may be, or want to accomplish, or anything that you feel that you can do.
Yeah.
By all means, find out what it is it takes to do it and make the decision to get it done.
Make it happen.
Because I believe that when God puts your purpose in you and gives you a passion for something and keeps something ever present at the top of your mind,
Yep.
You keep saying, that wish is the seed. I wish I could have that. Well, that's the seed. But then when you say, okay, we've talked about this, you see a house you would like to live in. Or you look into a magazine, you're like, oh, that's a nice house. I'd love to live in something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, have you ever gone on a website and looked at the market for those types of houses, see how much it would cost? Mm-hmm. How much would it cost to maintain that kind of house? Mm-hmm. Have you gone to the neighborhood where those houses are? Mm-hmm. How those people live? Mm-hmm. What do they do? Mm-hmm. And I really wish that we would talk to our young kids, our young,
yes,
early in life, with these types of goals and aspirations, to show them how you get there.
Yeah.
Because when they're in school, and especially they're coming from different socioeconomic classes, they may look at some of their classmates who have more than they do and just assume that's just something they can't obtain. That they are the haves and the have-nots. But if you teach them that, how to go about finding those items and looking at them and figuring out, well, the passion that I have, maybe my grandson has always been fascinated with putting stuff together. Like, at first we thought it was architects, because he always liked buildings and wanted to know how this building was this, and he would get his Legos and he would build all of these tall skyscrapers.
Oh.
And then he was fascinated with watches, and he would always ask, "Well, what is it?" And we said, "Well, it's a watch." And but he would say, "But what is it?" And I couldn't understand why he was, he's like, it's a watch. But he was like, "But what?" I mean, I'm talking when he was like 1 and 2 years old, but he would be like, "Well, what is it?" And then I finally realized one day he wasn't asking about the name. He was asking, what is a watch? What makes it tick? What's on the inside? What is that component? Because he was interested in what makes this do what it does. So if we can figure out what passions our kids have or their interests, and kind of help guide them in that direction, and then show them how to get there.
Yep.
Well, if you like
early on. Yep. I remember my girls. Well, my son, he loves basketball. He could be the next D Rose. That's crazy. He plays really, really good basketball. Mm-hmm. And I knew he played basketball, but I didn't know
how well he played basketball.
And so, and all the kids they would always be in front of my house. And so one day, it's this boy, I don't know how tall this boy was. He was a teenager. So about 6 feet maybe. Mm-hmm. And so my son, I didn't know what it was called. And I said, it was a slam dunk or something like that. My son, no, that's a layup. Well, I was wondering, I was like, dang, who is this boy coming from out of nowhere? It was my son. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? And so I'm like, okay, you need to get on the team. And so scouts and everybody was looking at him. That's how crazy it was. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted to put him in an upper, category with the upperclassmen. He was a freshman. He was like, no, I want to go straight through with them. And so it was like amazing just to be able to see how much he's grown and involved in basketball, right?
Right.
And so my girls, they love to cook, and so they had an opportunity to be able to go to culinary school for like the summer when they was in high school. Mm-hmm. So it's very important to be able to pay attention to what your children are doing, and to be able to say, wait a minute, hold on, I see something that they like, get them in it. Find a way, get them in it. It'll keep them busy. It'll keep them out of trouble. And then you never know that you done help them along the way in their career path. So a lot of kids go to college and they turn around and say, I don't want to do that. Well, they already experienced it in early on, so at least they have a upper hand on saying, look, wait a minute, I really do like it. I still wake up to my passion and my purpose every morning. Now I could be able to eventually make this my career so I can monetize off of it. And so that, yeah, it's very important to get our kids involved early on versus later. My career started later.
Well,
but it's never too late though, right?
And in entrepreneurship, I think we should encourage our kids to do more on their own, to create their own, versus always expecting them or teaching them that you go to school and then you go and you work for someone else, whatever. Yep. Because I think we need more of us in business, and we creating our own. I mean, I can't say enough about that. I think that's where we're lagging. I mean, we're so far behind the curveball on that because we didn't have the same start.
Yep.
I don't know what anybody says. You can expect us to be where everyone else is when they've had 250 years to grow wealth, and we barely had 50. But think about it.
That is very true.
In the 1960s, 1950s, we still were dealing with civil rights issues. And there's still laws on the books now that are keeping us from, that are trying to, I'm not going to say they are, but they try, to make it more difficult for us to obtain, They still don't want certain segments in certain neighborhoods. They still want to keep you from voting. They still want to keep you from achieving. And why? I don't get that. I don't get that. If we're an American, everyone's supposed to be the same, be able to pull themselves up from their bootstraps. Why would you put your thumb down on a segment of society to keep them from coming up?
Yep.
So, yeah, we have a long ways to go. I totally agree. And we need more of us to pursue that type of employment so that we can sustain ourselves and then teach others how to sustain themselves.
Because that is very important. What you're saying is so important. We are in a technical world. If we could learn how to keep up with these latest phones that's coming out, why the heck can we not run our business from our phones? You know what I mean? We on the phone all day long. We'll text on the phone. We'll be on social media on the phone. Everything is on the phone. Now they have the tablet. You could be on the go running your business. But we are so close-minded to the old ways, the analog days. And it's like people don't even have home phones barely anymore. Everybody basically have a cell phone nowadays. So why not have you a business? So just in case, that job, people are getting laid off left and right. And what is it going to take for you to understand that if we are in this situation right now, people are living check to check right now, what makes you think this is going to change? Because it's going to come back around again in the next 3 to 5 years. So if you're not preparing yourself right now, I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to happen again. So I don't know how many times people got to get laid off. People now, they are publishing now how many companies are already projected to close this year. That is crazy. And people still just going along like the turtle, like, oh, it won't be me. What? You never know if that's going to be you. But just like they say, you may be skeptical. You could be skeptical and broke, but you can't do both. Pick one.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Pick one. Because it's like, how much more are you going to continue to do, and that's going to stop your future? You're too busy waiting for your future to be able to prepare for your future. No, you need to be preparing for your future now, right now. Not depending on when the 401k going to hit, when something else going to slow down, when the market going to pick back up. You need to prepare for yourself, because just like that job investing in you and keep you limited, you are going along with them. When the sky, you got so much to reach. You could be able to reach so much, but you too busy staying locked down, chained down, and because somebody done invested in that job. What?
Right.
Oh, secured. Oh yeah, you secured, all right. You got shackles on your feet. That's how secure you are. But trust and believe, when they say it's time to cut the cord, honey, they're going to get the biggest things, the what you call them, big old chain things, to cut it, and they're going to let your butt go. And then what you going to do? We have to be able to change our mindset so we can be able to move forward, have better for our children, because this mess is crazy. This is crazy. Do you know now more people are doing homeschool now? It's not getting no better. More people are doing homeschool now because the school systems are so jacked up. We got 300 teachers. I think it's in a college in what's the college? Because of the funding, they are laying off 300 teachers and closing the college.
Wow.
300.
Well, they just did that. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? 300.
In Detroit, 1,600. Well, I don't know how many teachers it was, but they had to leave. The teachers called in sick because there was going to be a funding issue with paying the teachers through the summertime. You know, so it's like,
what part do you not get? It's sad. It's so sad. And it's like our kids are suffering from it. And I understand it so well because I've been down this road. And then to constantly still see it happen, it's like, what are you guys doing? You got
and it's not going to stop happening. It's not going to stop happening. You know, and you got to realize that the political system that is set up so that you will always have workers and then you'll have owners.
Ooh.
So you can either choose one or the other.
That's that writing off, written off. W-2 1099. I'm just saying.
I don't know, you know, it's sad, but it's true. So you know, that also plays into what it is you want in life, what do you feel that you can succeed, and how far you're willing to go and take it. Because
Absolutely.
That's all I can say. You know, I just read something this morning about the millennials now. You know how they used to tell us it takes $1 million to retire? They're telling them now it takes $2 million. $2 million.
When I say that, I said, what? People, we have to do better.
You think an employer who you work for 9 to 5, who's paying your health insurance, the health insurance that you have, any benefits that they deem to give you, if they want to pay for them, is going to pay you enough in, let's say, I don't even think no one works 20 years anymore. So if you get 10 good years in, you think you're going to make $2 million to retire?
Absolutely not. They got to keep something for themselves because they got to take care of their family. They invested in you. That's why they get to pay.
Well, that's what they're working for. They're doing what they're supposed to. You can't blame them for. They're doing what they're supposed to do to keep their profit so they can take care of their family.
Exactly. So you have to take care of your family and invest in you.
Right. You have to get your own.
Yes, but see, we
that's what we don't want to acknowledge and talk about these days. I mean, even doctors are not making the money they used to, and they won't make money again like they used to because the system is not designed that way anymore.
No.
And people cannot afford it.
And then we also got to be clear, they got all those degrees. That job is not transferable to their children. True.
Just because daddy was a doctor don't mean you're going to be a doctor by default. That is true.
We got to be real with
it. Enough money, maybe he has a side business that he can move on to his family, you know, then that's different. But he can't transfer that practice unless his son is going to be a doctor too. After he pays for that medical degree.
Exactly. People are going to school just to pay to be able to so-called make enough money for a job to pay for school and still not making enough money to pay off the debt that they're in. So you basically walked into school in debt and came out with a high bill, and now you can't even find a job or a job to be able to help you pay for that bill that you done got yourself into. Jesus fix it.
That really is sad because that's the reality. You have to go in debt to get in debt.
Yep.
To find
and be in debt for the rest of your life.
To get a job. Yeah.
That's
something
sad.
wrong with that picture.
Yep. Yep.
I don't even know how we have fell for that.
Yeah. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm like,
Yeah,
y'all
that's
don't
probably like, wait a minute.
know.
But it's our society, and the cost of living going up, and pay not keeping up, and it's
Yep.
just a whole lot of other things that came on top of that, and the middle class has not had a raise in what 30 years.
Yep.
Um, all of that is culminating to where we're at now. It's just not sustainable.
And the government still get their cut up top. Oh, I'm sorry. So the government get theirs off top no matter what. Okay. So this has been an amazing series. I appreciate you pouring into us. I just like, my goodness, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to being able to put the link up to be able to share with other people, because people need to hear this stuff. And hopefully someone else got empowered.
Hopefully.
Yeah. They picked up those nuggets that you was dropping, because you was like, boom, boom, who's catching them? Who's catching them? So, Adrienne, tell people how they could be able to get in contact with you so they could be able to still stay connected.
Oh, sure. I'm on all the social media platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. You can reach me at ALLEON713, and I look forward to sharing with anyone who wants to talk to me, and I look forward to connecting, because it's all about empowering, and it still takes a village. It's not just for the children; it's for us all. We all
Yeah,
need that input, and we all need that inspiration from others.
that is so true. So, Adrienne, I want you to be able to also put your information into the Break the Cycle of Brokenness
Okay.
event page, so people could be able to connect with you there. I thank you so much, because I know you got a hectic schedule, to be able to take the time out and
I
to come
appreciate
on.
the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. I thank you again. So with that being said, my name is Vanessa Canteberry. I can be found on social media and inspiredbyvanessa.com, and also Inspired Vanessa on Twitter, because of the characters. But in the meantime, between time, guys, we hope we was able to leave you with some amazing information and some nuggets that you could be able to pick up and take along the way on your journey of being empowered, and to be able to empower the next person who took the time out to empower you. So with that being said, we will be back next week with another session of amazing ladies sharing their stories of empowerment, and continue this series on of Break the Cycle of Brokenness. With that being said, we are out. Have a great one.
All right. Too. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.